in striking distance of former President Donald Trump. Former New York Congressman and co-host of Wake Up America Weekend, Michael Grimm, joins us. Also with us, our special guest today, Brianna Lyman. She is the host of The Brink and reporter for the Daily Caller. Thank you so much for being here. Well, we are getting right down to it. 8 days away. We've been talking about it and talking about it. Now we'll finally get to see the voters. What are you expecting from this?
Oh, listen, there's nothing to expect here. Donald Trump is a boss, and all those other candidates look like a bunch of staffers all squabbling for who's going to get to hang out with the boss or who's going to go on this special trip. It's ridiculous. They look like a bunch of petulant children, and at the end of the day, they're not even going to come close to the man that's going to take this home for us. The American people have faith in one guy, the guy that has actually done all the things that the other candidates say they want to do.
Brianna, what's your take? What do you think? What are you expecting?
I think all these other primary candidates are divorced from reality. You know, Nikki Haley talks about this, possibility she'll get the nomination. Donald Trump went from 43% in October to 51% now, according to a Des Moines Register poll. That's significant because if you look back at George Bush, Hillary Clinton, Gore, they all were at 50% or lower. Donald Trump is at 51%. And just to speak to her comment that she said about, New Hampshire voting, Bob Dole and George Bush both won Iowa, lost New Hampshire, and got the nomination.
Great points.
That was a good point. Yeah. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, she has been getting a little bit more support. She's in there with DeSantis. But again, as to your point, it doesn't even matter. But do you expect any of them to drop out heading into New Hampshire if, for whatever reason, they don't poll well get the votes?
What I'm seeing is Nikki Haley is just being the backup plan for the establishment hacks. The establishment money is going to her because they don't like Donald Trump, period, end of story. And you know what they're doing? They're setting their money on fire. It's a complete waste of time. What I see happening is someone like Ron DeSantis that ultimately is a good guy. He's a good governor. I think he does have leadership skills. He's going to wake up and realize after Iowa that he needs to drop out and support President Trump. But I don't think Nikki Haley has that same level of professionalism or leadership.
Absolutely. Brianna, I want to get to this, though. Former President Trump, he's in Iowa right now on the campaign trail. He was in Clinton, though, Iowa. Here's what he had to say about the state of America under President Biden. Let's watch.
This election is our last chance to save America. The battle begins in Iowa. It begins right here. First in the nation, it begins right here in Iowa on January 15th, and Joe Biden's banana republic ends on November 5th, 2024. That's what it is. And with your help, we're going to bring back our country. We're going to bring it back from hell.
Do you think the message is resonating with the voters there? He clearly is getting the support. It seems to only go up, as you mentioned earlier. What do you expect?
Well, I think Donald Trump contrasts perfectly with President Joe Biden. He talks about saving America, rather while Joe Biden talks about a danger to democracy. One, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And Democrats know that that is the only playbook they have because they want to foment this anger and opposition to Republicans by fear-mongering. And they did it, somewhat successfully. And I only bring this up. We saw that Department of Defense report come out this week. It said there's no extremism, domestic extremism in the military. They tried so hard to convince us that there was to fear-monger, and it didn't work.
And Brianna, if I may, the irony here is that they're talking about Donald Trump being a threat to democracy. Which candidate is imprisoning his opponent and getting him kicked off the ballots using the court system? You can't make this stuff up.
It's unbelievable. We'll see how the voters vote here in 8 days. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thank you so much. Appreciate you both. All right.